Welcome, everyone, to MLB Tonight. 30 clubs, 30 camps from Peoria, Arizona, the spring home of the San Diego Padres, a team that won 90 games last year, made it to the postseason. They were knocked out early by the Chicago Cubs. Now, the year before, they won 93 games, made a deep run, almost made it to the Fall Classic, so they took a step back. It's Greg Amsinger once again at Padres camp with former Padre Yonder Alonso. Okay, so it's another year, Yonder, we're at Padres camp. It's another year where their biggest rival is fresh off a world championship. Yeah. Is there mounting frustration for this Padres organization?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at this roster, when you look at this team, and obviously AJ Preller and the city of San Diego, they're expected to play in the World Series. I mean, you know, from the roster standpoint, I think they got better this year. I think last year they were a little bit, hurt going into the postseason. They lost some big key guys. Michael King wasn't healthy. Laureano, which was a huge piece in left field, he couldn't play in the postseason as well. Musgrove went down. Now you're getting all these guys that are healthy. You added some depth in this roster, and I think this team, on paper, they're better than they were last season.
Interesting, because they know that the Dodgers are better than they were last year when they go get Cal Tucker and Edwin Diaz. So there are some smaller moves that were made. Walker Buehler might get a chance. Nick Castellanos. They're going to have Laureano probably out there in the outfield again. They brought back Michael King, which is good for the rotation. Right. Full healthy year of Joe Musgrove. You think that this is a roster that is fully competitive with what we're seeing at Chavez Ravine?
I think they're going to be very competitive. I think they're going to win. I think they go deep into a great season. They make the postseason. Look, this is the thing about AJ Preller and the San Diego Padres. They're never done, right? Before opening day, they can go and make another splash, right? Make a trade, go sign somebody else. So, with AJ, you never know. I always think that this team, every single day, he's thinking about how they can get better. This is not the full roster. I still think that even then, AJ's going to add more pieces. And this team, right now, the way it's looked, yes, it is ready to go deep into a postseason.
And they got players that still have a high upside. Jackson Merrill, we're expecting much more offensive production from him. How about Fernando Tatis Jr.? Another terrific season where he can literally do it all. His second platinum glove. He's an 80-grade defender. Mm-hmm. We love him on the bases. He's got light tower power. Maybe Fernando Tatis Jr. can get back to being an MVP candidate once again. And we are excited to be joined by the veteran Fernando Tatis Jr. What camp is this for you?
Camp number 9.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun. All right, so we just saw the graphic of the war leaders, and your ability now at this stage of your career to be the consistent performer that you are. How have you developed that?
Man, start with the love of the game, and then after that, a lot of work and dedication, and then you just let your talent play in.
Hey, talk to me about that. 155 games played. Close to 600 at-bats. Was that something that you wanted to come into 2025 and say, I want to make sure I play over 145 games?
Yeah, it was definitely a goal of myself. And, we started preparing since the off-season, and we were talking about it, we were preaching about it, and we found a way how to make it happen.
This is one of the best divisions in baseball. You guys, I feel like you guys on paper got better. You guys added some pieces. Now you guys can refine a little bit of your lineup depending on who's pitching on the other side. How awesome is it to see all these new guys come in and have that depth for you for the offensive side?
Yeah, we definitely got better from a clubhouse standpoint. Starting from a new manager, young manager. And I feel like the vibes are above the roof, and now the team that we're putting together is coming out really sexy, and we're just enjoying it, and we're definitely going to have some good time together.
When you heard the Dodgers got Diaz in the back end and Tucker in right field, what did Fernando Tatis Jr. think?
I was not surprised.
You were?
I was not. I mean, they have been doing it, and they have been shown why they have been twice in the World Series, winning it, and it's part of their culture now.
He's going to go in a few moments and go chat with Manny. I think it is a feather in both of your caps that if you took all the big leaguers and put them on Dodger Stadium's field, which two guys would get booed the loudest from Dodger fans? It's you and Manny.
Manny still got it, though.
Hey, Manny's ahead of you a little bit, but you're dancing in right field when those fans are yelling at you. It's epic. Do you believe that the Padres and the Dodgers are the best rivalry in baseball right now?
I do believe it. I mean, people all around the league believe they see it, and we're playing the games out there. It's definitely one of the best baseball games playing out there, and man, I definitely look forward to it.
We love watching you play, man. Best of luck, okay?
Thank you.
Fernando Tatis Jr. And when you look at the accolades, this guy's grown up right before our eyes, that he has been able to accomplish, a platinum glove. Look at Manny Machado's career. All of the accolades these two have put together. It's one of the best 1-2 punches, not just in the NL West, but in all of baseball. Well, the other half of that 1-2 punch, Manny Machado, Yonder, moments ago, caught up with a guy he knows rather well.
All right, Manny, what is it about the 1-2 punch with Fernando Tatis and yourself, man? You guys have been around for a long time. You know, how comfortable are you guys with each other on the playing field and obviously off the field? But most importantly, when you both guys are going hot, how much fun is that?
Oh, man, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, I can go back to hitting when I'm not doing too well. I can hit a fly ball to the infield and he scores, and it's easy RBI. But you know, just having us stacked up in a lineup, I think it's impressive. I think we both feed off of each other.
What is it about 2025 that you can look back and, you know, take some of the good that you did to kind of bring it into another level in 2026?
Just keep progressing, keep getting better. I think you know, as players, we always want to adjust, we always want to get better, right? And you know, there's always room to improvement. We have a little sour taste of us losing to the Cubs last year, so you know, we're motivated more than ever as a ball club to get back to that or get even further, knowing the ball club that we have. So you know, my job is to try to be better than I did last year. What can I improve on? How can I be better? How could I have helped the team out any way I could to get into that next level? So you know, just trying to work on that and attack those areas as best as I can to improve on.
When you look at this 2026 roster, I think for me it's better, right? There's more depth. Offensively, there's more pieces that Craig Stammen can play with. But for yourself and obviously, you know, with AJ Preller, what he's done in the offseason, how much fun is it to see these guys, these new guys, and have the opportunity to play for the Padres?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely an improvement. You know, we definitely have more depth. We think we got kind of stuck there at the end with some injuries. I know injury bug goes around with every team, but you know, it kind of hurt us there at the end. So you know, we got some good depth this year, whether it's, you know, Andahar, Nick, Ty France. You go to the pitching side, we got three guys who could potentially be aces for our ball club. So you know, adding those pieces to our ball club makes us a lot better. And you know, over a long period of a year, you know, it's a lot of ups and downs, and we have a lot of guys that can carry the team in different ways. So you know, it's gonna be huge for us to you know, have those pieces down the road.
Greg, let me tell you, man, you can have the core group. 2026 is going to be outstanding. The depth is everywhere. When you have Manny, when you got Fernando, when you got these studs on the mound, good things are going to happen for the Padres. Back to you.
Yonder, thanks. Let's get interactive with our audience. We're asking you this on social media. Who's going to lead the Padres in homers this year? Will it be Manny? How about Fernando Tatis Jr., Jackson Merrill, or someone else? Weigh in. Results will be a little later in the show. A team that's trying to get health and length out of their starting rotation. Joe Musgrove, a big part of that. He was an all-star back in 2022. He missed all of last year due to injury. He's standing by right now at Yonder.
Thanks, Greg. I'm here with Joe Musgrove. First and foremost, how's your health? How you feel? And how's camping going?
Yeah, I feel great, man. You know, finishing up the rehab at the end of last year through the off season. Really had a chance to 16 months is a long time that you usually don't get as a pitcher to kind of reevaluate how you move, things that you want to fix that maybe you don't have time to in the competition of a season. So I spent a lot of time reworking the delivery, getting my movements right, and kind of finding ways to relieve some stress from the arm. Coming into spring feeling really good right now. It feels nice to just kind of be back on the field and able to participate in a lot of the stuff that goes on in spring.
Let's talk about this depth, in the starting pitching especially, right? You know, that 3-4-5, that 4-5 is more of a competition.
Yeah.
You've added some guys, obviously, you know, Marquez, Vasquez is in there, Bueller's back, McKenzie's back as well. You know, you guys signed him. Man, what does it say about this starting rotation? It feels like every team in spring training is looking for that, all right, who's my fourth, who's my fifth, right?
Yeah.
It feels like you guys have an abundance of guys that are just going to compete for that spot.
Right. Yeah, and that's an awesome thing, man. I mean, the competition in spring is amazing, especially in that 4-5 role with us. You know, Marco Estrada's another name in there, Griff Canning. You know, we went from having, you know, 3, maybe 4 solid starters coming into spring to now having 7, 8, 9 guys that, you know, we can run throughout the year. You know, depth is, you hear it all the time, you'll never have enough pitching, man. Guys go down throughout the year, guys struggle, pick up weird injuries. So, it's encouraging to see guys that we've added here that have a lot of big league experience and have been really successful. And some of them coming off of that first year back from Tommy John, not having a great year. Maybe that second year is kind of where they find their groove again and get that rhythm and comfortability in their arm. So I think with the guys that we have on our staff, with Ruben and Pete and Ben Fritz, those guys are really good at pulling the best out of their players. So the more guys we have, more competitive spring, I think the better it's going to be for us as the season goes.
All right, Greg, listen, Ruben Niebla, AJ Preller, Joe Musgrove, King, the depth is unreal. I think this starting pitching is going to be one of the best ones in the league. It's going to be fun. Back to you.
Yonder, thank you very much. It's time for some front office insights presented by Sage. I'm here with AJ Preller. He's the leader of the front office for the San Diego Padres. Those guys were just chatting about the rotation depth. Now, where do you look at it right now? You got 8 guys I'm looking at that are fighting for 5 spots. You have your big 3, which we know will be in the rotation. But how do you see the 4 and 5 spot, that starting 5?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been something that we've tried to do here over the last 3-4 months, to just add numbers and quality, because obviously we're going to need innings behind King, Pivetta, and Musgrove. So it's again like Randy Vasquez, JP Sears that were here last year. Randy kind of building on his finish at the end of last season, and then adding guys like Walker Buehler and Herman Marquez, Griffin Canning, some guys that have some things to prove. So it's a big part of spring training for us is hopefully making accurate and good decisions and just watching some talented guys, some guys that have some things to prove, and some bounce back guys. Let them go compete, and it's a good pitching environment here. So we've been able to add guys over the last few years, and they've come in and usually done a very good job. Hopefully no different this year.
You have the most dominant relief pitcher in baseball. Mason Miller's incredible. When you have a brand new manager that used to be a reliever, the etiquette of managing a bullpen is a very sensitive thing, especially to relievers. Did that go into your thinking at all, knowing that this was one of the strengths of your team, the back end of your bullpen, leading to Craig Stammen being your manager?
I mean, I think hopefully just an added benefit. I think the biggest thing with Craig is just, again, I think he's just, he's been in the organization. He's very familiar with our group and our players. And he's a natural leader. He's a genuine person. He was a leader as a player, as a reliever, which is, not a normal thing. He was, but he's a guy that's, again, he's going to use his people, his staff. But he's going to be the guy making calls, and I think he's going to make a lot of good calls, and it's been fun working with him here. You don't want to have a manager looking over his shoulder during the game. Here's the script. Here's what you have to do in the 7th inning or 6th inning. We want guys that are going to be very prepared in that role, and hopefully help the manager be prepared in that spot. But once the game starts, go manage the game, go manage the team. Again, it's we've got a lot of stability throughout the organization in that role. We've made some changes over the years, and for all different reasons, but we've had success. So I think for us, for Craig, looking at him and what he brings to the table, I think he's going to do a great job. I'm looking forward to it.
AJ Preller, always fun chatting with you, man. Hopefully we see another postseason run for the San Diego Padres.
Manager interviews are presented by Sage, the official finance software partner of Major League Baseball.
30 clubs, 30 camps. It rolls on from Peoria, Arizona, the spring home of the San Diego Padres, a team that has high expectations. That's nothing new, but they have a full season with the best relief pitcher in the game. Mason Miller performs at a completely different level. Take a look at this. The last 2 years, pitches thrown at 100 miles an hour or more. It's not even close. It's Mason and then everyone else, which explains why his first spring training outing just days ago, 11 fastballs thrown, 9 at 100 miles an hour or even more. Now, Mason joins me now on 30 Clubs, 30 Camps. So my phone blew up when you did that, Mason. And they're like, whoa, that's a lot of velo early on in camp. What would you say to those people?
We spent the offseason preparing, and, now we're here. So, I'm not going to come in and, go off like a lame duck, So you put yourself in a good position, you go out there, the results are there.
In the postseason, complete dominance. You touched 104.5 miles an hour. Did you surprise yourself?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, looking back, I honestly wasn't checking any velo that day. So I think just feeling the energy, feeling the moment, and letting the body take over.
Now, you're going to be leaned on heavily in the back end of this bullpen, but you're also trying to get yourself revved up for the World Baseball Classic. So how do you toe the line on making sure you're ready to rock for your team and ready to go to win for Mark DeRosa and his bunch?
Definitely. I mean, really excited to get up with that group and be amongst a lot of stars and go play for the country. We just saw how exciting it was watching the Olympics. So we get our turn here soon. We're stoked. But I think for a reliever, it's not a huge lift. It's just getting ready a couple weeks early, being ready to compete at a little bit higher level, maybe 3 weeks early. For guys that are needing to get ABs or starters needing to build up, I think we're kind of seeing that there's a little bit harder to line those schedules up for us. We'll probably throw 4 or 5 innings and, get our work in and be ready for opening day.
There's an etiquette to managing a bullpen, and no one knows that better than a guy that used to be in the bullpen like Craig Stammen. Is that peace of mind for you to know that your manager was in a role like that in his career?
Definitely. I think that the conversations will be a lot more transparent, a lot more honest, and, I don't think he's going to let you get off with saying, like, I feel good when he knows that you don't. So, there's still things that you got to do in a bullpen, days that you got to pitch where you don't feel great. But I think with the weapons that we have, the talent that we have even coming up through the minor leagues as well, that, the bullpen's in a fantastic place.
Well, we're about to talk to your manager. Mason Miller have a great run in the WBC and during the 2026 regular season. Who knows? Maybe we're going to see 105, 106 miles an hour. Before I get there, I need to talk to his manager to see if that's something he even wants to see from his superstar. I'm going to bring Yonder back in for this conversation to talk to the first-year manager, Craig Stammen, in his manager interview presented by Sage. All right, Craig, so I was just chatting with your closer, Mason Miller, and are you cool with the guy? First outing in spring training, 9 of his first 11 fastballs over 100 miles an hour. As a former reliever, is that what you want to see now as a manager?
I mean, him throwing 100 miles an hour, 105 is his peak, so he's just kind of easing into that 105, it looked like. But, I mean, if you got it, why not show it off, I guess? Do you feel like that's a strength that you bring, knowing that there is an etiquette to managing a bullpen? When you get a guy up, how many times you do that in a game, are you ready for me? Is that one thing you're coming in as a feather in your cap? Because it is one of the strengths of your team, your bullpen. Yeah, it is a strength of our team. I just can't screw it up. Those guys are really good at just putting those guys in the right situations to succeed. Hopefully I learned a little bit while I was out there, and I can take that to managing and make it a successful part of our team.
Craig, you've been around for a long time here with the San Diego Padres organization, but what's your motto, right? What's the way you want to manage, and what's kind of the language you're going to speak to the fans of San Diego when you're looking at this team in 2026? Yeah, I mean, we're going to be a family. That's, I grew up with a strong family. It was a big part of my life. It made me feel joyful and play with freedom. And so if I can give those players the same ability to play with freedom, have joy while they're out on the mound, or out on the field, out on the mound, wherever, and the fans will be able to see that. They'll see when Toddy brings his hair back and does the splits, and Manny's hitting homers and bat flipping, and they're doing all their handshakes. That's a joy. You look at this roster, and some can argue that on paper they're better than they were last year, right? The depth is much better. The starting pitching, I would think it's a tick better as well. But is there ever a doubt where you're like, okay, we may need a piece here, we may need a piece there, or no, we've got the guys here and we're going to go out there and battle every day? Yeah, we feel good with who we have. Obviously, paper doesn't matter. It's what you do out on the field, and we've got to be able to prove it on the field. But we also know who our GM is also. AJ's always looking to make moves, looking to improve our team. So we feel good with who we are right now. We're going to take that to the opening day and see what we got. As a first-year manager in a win-now mode, how important is the first month of the regular season for your team? Because you can't win a division in April, but when the Dodgers are in your division, you can sure as hell know that you're not going to win the division in April if you don't play well. Yeah, the only thing we can control is ourselves and the effort and the attitude we bring to that first month and being prepared in spring training. We'll play our best early and see where it shakes out. You like the gig so far? You like it? Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a challenge for sure, but we love challenges. That's who we are, That's right. We appreciate it, Craig. Thank you so much. Best of luck, okay? Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, let's get interactive before we say goodbye. Here's the question we asked you on social media. Which Padre will lead the team in homers? 65% of you think it's going to be Tatis. 17% say Manny. 12% Jackson Merrill. I know my guy here, Yonder, Alonso, loves a big year for Jackson Merrill. That's going to be one of his bold predictions, but let me go first. Let me get the bad news out of the way, if you don't mind. Please do. I think this team's going to take a step back. The starting rotation just does not have the depth. We didn't even talk about the loss of Dylan Cease. I know his ERA was around 4.5, but he brought a lot of swing and miss. Therefore, I think they go 82-80. They miss the playoffs. They finish third in the division. Dodgers, then the improved San Francisco Giants. It's going to be a bit of a disappointing year compared to what we're used to seeing in San Diego. I'm glad we got that done. Okay, now it's my turn. All right. Turn the frown upside down, Yonder. Yes, I think this team gets into the postseason. I think they get into the wild card. They've gone back-to-back seasons, winning 90-plus games. Yeah. I still think they're around that mark as well. And look, this team with a healthy Jackson Merrill, he's going to be the elite all-star that we've seen from the first year that he came up with the Padres. I expect him to have a big year. Up the middle, they're going to be great. That bullpen with the 4 horsemen they got in the back, if they have the lead, the game's over. So, yes, Padres are going to do big things this year.
Wow, I think you just changed my mind, Yonder. No, I'm kidding. That's all the time we have. All things Padres from Peoria, Arizona. Thank you so much for watching MLB Tonight. 30 clubs, 30 camps. We'll see you next time.